Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about polling and Biden and Trump and a huge lead for Trump and what it all means because a whole bunch of questions have come in because a whole bunch of outlets are pointing to a poll. So, if you missed it, what does the poll say? It says that Trump has like a 10-point lead. That's substantial. That's big. So we're going to talk about the impacts of that first before we actually talk about the poll, because what I'm going to say about the poll doesn't actually change the effects for this part. The Trump team, they are going to use this. One of the big things right now when you're talking about Republicans is there are a lot of them who believe Trump can't win a general. This shows that he can. Look at this poll. And Team Trump is going to use it for that. They're going to try to cement their already very strong position in the Republican primary. Now, is this a case of the Trump team embracing that post-truth world? Kind of. But every politician would use it for this. So this isn't something you can actually slam the Trump team for. Any politician in this position would be using this poll for the exact same thing. But, as you might have just picked up on, the polling is probably not accurate. The poll, part of it was done by the Washington Post, who says that the, quote, sizable margin of Trump's lead in this survey is significantly at odds with other public polls that showed the general election contest in a virtual dead heat. The difference between this poll and others, as well as the unusual makeup of Trump's and Biden's coalitions in this survey, suggest it is probably an outlier. They're saying that it's probably a bad poll. Now, when you have that kind of notification, that kind of basically disclosure, you should probably take it seriously. But we need to point to some other things about polling lately. They haven't really been great. It was polling like this that led a whole bunch of people to believe there was a red wave coming, one that never, reached shore. Why? Because polling right now is basically done of people who will pick up the phone to an unknown number. That's not a behavior that is incredibly common among not even young people. I mean, people my age and down. Don't do it. So you're not getting an accurate representation when the poll is taken. I also want to say that this was done of just a little bit more than 1,000 people. Not great representation there. There's also questions about the order of the questions and how they were asked and all of that stuff, which to me, yes, it matters, but the whole phone thing is a much bigger issue. And then you come to the final and most important part. Polling this far out when it comes to how people are going to vote, it means nothing, absolutely nothing. There's a whole lot of things that can happen between now and then. What happens if the economy crashes? Well, Biden loses. Biden loses. Unless it crashes because of a government shutdown that people blame on the Republicans. If it rebounds, becomes incredibly strong and everybody's feeling it, well, then Biden wins. What if Trump is in custody? There's a whole lot of things that will happen between now and the election that might alter the results of this poll. I wouldn't worry about it too much, other than this is going to give the Trump campaign a huge amount of ammunition to placate people who are concerned about the electability in a general election so he can get through the primary. Given the fact that Republicans are kind of turning against him when it comes to not showing up to the debates, and it's entering that phase where people are going to start dropping out really quickly, if I was somebody who was conspiratorial, I might think that this was somebody who maybe wanted Trump to get through the primary because he would be easier to beat in a general. But again, there's no evidence of that. It's one of those timing things. Like, yeah, that's odd, especially given everything else that's going on. Now, realistically, is that the likely scenario? No. The likely scenario is that it's a bad poll. It's an outlier, as they said. I cannot imagine a world in which Trump beats Biden by 10 points in the general. I can't imagine a chain of events that would lead to that. Your most likely answer is what they said. It's an outlier poll. But I would be very cautious putting too much stock in polling at this point until pollsters can figure out how to reach the people who are not answering their phones. They are going to become less and less accurate because the number of people who don't answer unknown numbers is going to continue to increase. So the polling will become less and less representative. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.